Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Husnawati, the student of English Applied Linguistic Study Program, Postgraduate School, Universitas Negeri Medan. In this occasion, due to the pandemic of COVID-19, I'm presenting to you my online presentation on the annual International Seminar of Transformative Education and Educational Leadership 2020. My research paper was entitled Categories of Ideological Shift of Tech in the Translation of Half of Yellow Sun. The background of the research following is four most motivating ideas of the reason for conducting this research. Aside from Beta 2016, she stated that ideology play a very significant role in the translation practice, and this ideology could be identified in different levels and through different ways. It includes in the selections of the text, the strategy of the translation, as well as the topic of the text, and so on. In addition, Scraper 2003 mentioned that ideological aspects can be determined within the text into two different levels. They are in the lexical level and the grammatical level. So based on these two segments, it can be concluded that the ideology and translation is very much correlated. It could not be separated, and this ideology could be identified in various ways and in different levels of the text. They are included in the lexico-grammatical structure of the text as well as rhetorical device of the text. However, lack of research surrounding this topic of how SFL theory correlates to translation practice, especially in the literary work, has been conducted. Therefore, conducting the research is considered to be very important and necessary in the field of linguistic study. Furthermore, this research also was motivated by the researcher's personal interest in learning more about these two entities. They are the systemic functional linguistic theory and the translations. In order to find out how they are beneficial and correlate to each other. View of literature. So what is ideology? Expert such Fanjik 1998, he defined ideology as a system of serving ideas of dominant group. The ideology could be reflected in text and discourse at various degrees and by different means. Hattie and Manson 2005 defined ideology as attitude toward a phenomenon based on certain belief or value system shared by a group. Based on these two definitions, it can be inferred that ideology refers to some belief that people hold, which influence the way they interpreted and represented things. One of linguistic theory that could be used to identify the ideology is systemic functional linguistic theory. This theory has been recognized as descriptive and interpretive framework for viewing language as strategic making meaning resource. It suggests that ideology of text can be seen by analyzing the lexico-grammatical structure of the text, which can be used in this study. According to this theory, the language consisted of three functions. They are interpersonal functions, textual function, and ideational function. In this research, we will be focused on ideational functions of the language. The ideational functions deal with the analysis of the language through the transitive process, which consists of the material process, verbal process, relational process, mental process, behavioral process, and existential process. By adopting systemic functional linguistic theory, this research will be focused on analyzing metafunctional shift of the transitivity process. The shifts were categorized into two. They are intermetafunctional shift and intrametafunctional shift. Intermetafunctional shift refer to the shift of one process to the other process, while intrametafunctional shift refer to the shift to the same process but of different mode. Research methodology. As a research method, the researcher used qualitative descriptive design and content analysis in analyzing the data. And the data and data source is a clause taken from English and Bahasa Indonesian version of the novel, in this case Half a Wheel of Sand. And in collecting the data, the researcher used observation sheet as the instrument and the researcher herself as the main instrument. And for the technique of data collection, the researchers read, identify, and classify the data based on the theory used. And for the data analysis technique, the researcher adopt the theory from or the stages of data analysis suggested by Mel and Huberman consisted of three stages. They are data condensation, data display, and verification and conclusion drawing. To gain the trustworthiness and validity of the data, the researcher use reliability, stability, and credibility tests. Result and discussions. Presented on the table is the finding of this research. So, based on the analysis, the researcher found that intermeta functional shift is the most dominant categories of shift found in this research. From the intermediate functional shift, the kind of shift consists of seven kinds. It include all six kind or six type of the transitivity process with addition of non-process shift. Well, in the intermediate functional shift, only one clause consisted of shift one. There are shift from material happening to material doing. For more detail, it can be seen on the tables. As conclusion, through the analysis and finding of this research, it was concluded that the dominant categories of shift found is from the intermetafunctional category, which shift were found in 24 clauses, while only one clause had found related to the intrametafunctional category shift. However, to compare to the overall sample, it also indicates that the translator was insignificantly due to the shift of text in the translation, so the ideology of source and the target text is mostly the same. However, further analysis were suggested with the larger amount and representative data and multi-theory analysis for more concrete finding. Presented in this slide is the references taken in this study, either direct or indirectly. This is the end of this online seminar presentation. Thank you very much for spending your time watching this video. Selesai say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.